One of the problems with recruiting for investment banking is not the knowledge or skills you acquire, but the access to talk with real investment bankers to put your best foot forward. Our sponsor, WSO Academy, can provide those connections with 60 head mentors who are finance professionals at top firms like Goldman, Centerview, and JP Morgan. Imagine being able to get on the phone within 24 hours with one of the Academy's 1,300 mentors right before a critical interview. Get on the waitlist for WSO Academy today by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting wallstreetoasis.com/academy. Today, let's review the different forms of debt financing on Investment Banking Insights. All right. Welcome to Investment Banking Insights. This is the show dedicated to helping you learn both the technical and non-technical aspects of the investment banking process. My name is Alex Mason and I am your host. Hope you're having an amazing day. Today, we're going to summarize what we just learned over the past several episodes, different types of debt, but let's go ahead and kind of wrap this thing up and review because there's a lot of information and I know for me, I needed to go over it multiple times in order to kind of understand this at a second nature level. So let's go ahead and take a look at the different types of debt that we've learned. So in order from most senior to least senior, the debt types are as follows. We have revolvers, we have term loan A, term loan B, senior notes, subordinated notes, and mezzanine debt. Now, those are the main types. Now, as far as interest, the interest is lowest with revolvers and highest with mezzanine debt. That's probably the most important thing to remember, at least from my perspective. Like, riskier debt costs more interest, less risky debt costs less interest. Now, as far as the duration or the tenor of each loan, it's shortest with revolvers and longest with mezzanine debt. Now, technically, revolvers don't have a duration. This is something that I didn't mention a few episodes ago because it's kind of like a credit card for a company. Like you draw from it, you pay it back continuously. It doesn't technically have a duration, hence the name revolver because you're like revolving this credit back and forth. But a specific credit line agreement might be in place for 3 to 5 years, let's say, as I mentioned in the previous episode. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is mezzanine debt, and that might be in place for 8 to 12 years, much longer period of time. So that's the span as far as duration goes, and everything else in terms of debt type is kind of in the middle. The other major differences between these debt types is how they're amortized by the company. Now remember that amortization is how the expense of debt is broken up over time. Now revolvers don't have amortization. Term A loans have straight line amortization, just straight up dividing that debt by the number of periods, and the expense is recognized by an equal amount in each period. Term B loans, it's a little bit different. There's a small amount of amortization based on the principal amount. So maybe 1% of the principal amount, 2%, something like that. And then the other remaining debt types, senior notes, subordinated notes, mezzanine, those have this bullet arrangement for amortization. And remember that bullet is paying it all real fast right at the end. Now, the more conservative debt types, revolvers, term A loans, and term B loans, these are all considered senior secured debt. They're all secured. Revolvers don't have call protection. Remember, we talked about this concept of call protection being the ability to prepay the debt ahead of time. But term A and B loans may or may not have call protection. As far as the other debt types, senior notes, subordinated notes, and mezzanine debt, they all have call protection. So they're protecting the lender, helping them get their interest over the length of the loan because they're more risky and longer term debt. Now, as far as covenants, we talked about this concept too of covenants. There's two types, maintenance covenants and incurrence covenants. More conservative debt has maintenance covenants, while the riskier debt types have incurrence covenants. And then finally, let's review the types of interest that are paid. So conservative debt types have floating interest rates. So the interest rates could change with time, whereas the riskier debt types have fixed rates. But of course, they are higher rates typically. One other final idiosyncrasy here is that though all the other forms of debt have interest paid in cash, mezzanine debt is a little bit unique. Mezzanine debt may have this thing called PIK interest, and PIK is PIK, or paid in kind interest. And that essentially defers interest payments over time, and it compounds with the debt. So you may end up paying more interest in the long run, but you save cash in the short run from the borrower's perspective. Okay, wow, we covered all of that in 5 minutes. Amazing. Just wanted to give you a summary of this because there's a lot of information here with the different debt types, but I think it's really important to understand this because debt financing is a huge component of how companies do business. And as a banker, it's just good to know this kind of stuff. Now we're going to, in the next episode, switch more to a little bit more of an LBO focus. So stay tuned for that. But that's what I got for you today here on Investment Banking Insights. And you know what we're about, just trying to live our best lives possible, learn a little bit more every day about investment banking, and get better and better and better. Until next time, have a great day. Take care.